Oh, we're on. We're on, mate. We're sat here like a couple of lemons, but we're actually on. How are you guys doing? I suppose I need to share screen, don't I? That's the first thing here.
I'm going okay.
You going okay, you mate? Nice break. Morning, Sino. You have a decent break there, mate.
Yeah, I did actually. It's raining, so I couldn't do too much outside. I killed myself yesterday with the brush cutter in hand, and on a slope like that, it was a little bit tough going, but
yeah,
you get there in the end.
Well, we do have a market which is currently plummeting to the downside. Look at the FTSE 100. It's from its highs, it is now down around about 2.5%.
Big day, mate.
What's that, buddy?
It's a big day, isn't it?
Today?
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think it is anymore, mate. I think that's all been priced in now. Yeah, I mean, look at the euro, the euro versus the pound. It looks pretty good actually for the negotiations for the UK side now. I think Germany are putting some pressure on France, but there's a chance that he could walk. So I don't anticipate this. It's a slim chance, but I don't anticipate this going too far today. I think it's probably going to be caught in a bit of a range, maybe even a pop to the upside, possibly. But the euro pound is, you can see the movement that we've had over the last few days in the euro versus the pound. Hello, Wan.
Yep.
It looks like it could continue. But are you still managing to hold on to your euro trade?
Euro pound?
Yeah. Brilliant stuff. Okay, so the target down here, I think, is still well and truly achievable. So we'll see what happens. As I say, I'm not sure whether we might get a bit of a pausing today. I have got
interesting. I thought we might see a bit of volatility actually.
What in the euro pound?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the euro itself isn't doing too hot, isn't doing too well. We see the euro here. I'm expecting a bit of a downward movement now with the euro across the board. Don't know if there's an entry there or not.
Yeah, I'm pretty peeved. I missed euro yen. That was my trade of the week, and I'm not in it.
Yeah, the euro is potentially going to struggle, I think, because the pandemic looks like it's getting a little bit out of hand over in the European Union. Same with the dollar Swiss. Same with the dollar Swiss as well, mate. I'm interested in a long in the dollar Swiss now. Just putting in what looks like an accumulation pattern down here. May need a little bit longer, but let's have a look at this trend line.
Yeah, I closed the short.
You closed the short, yeah. I think that might be wise actually, mate. It looks like there could be some price action there, but it's not got that many, not got that much in the way of touches, so it's not the easiest one to assume. But I think some dollar strength looks pretty good. If we look across the board at the dollar right now, we're seeing seeing gold struggle a little bit as well. We could see do with gold coming down just a little bit further. I want to get some gold in the portfolio, but I don't think the timing is quite right as yet. Yeah, so gold is struggling a little bit because of the strength of the dollar, and we're also seeing silver struggling a little bit because of the strength of the dollar. But it's it's a tricky one with gold and silver because the pandemic may actually boost these to the upside, and I'm sure if we were looking at gold, let's say against the euro here, we're probably going to see a slightly different picture. So if we're looking at a long gold, then maybe against the euro, what might be a better play than against the dollar right now. I suspect copper's probably going to struggle as well today. We just across the board, we saw a genuine sell-off yesterday. Look at the Nasdaq now starting to fall, and this level down here is obviously going to be the buy zone with the Nasdaq, but it's already from its highs. It's already down 4% from its highs on the Nasdaq. So looks like there's still some room to come down, mate. And really with the Nasdaq, looking at that on a weekly basis, it really does need to get a bounce by the end of tomorrow's session before this area looks like a fairly significant area of potential resistance. And then finally, maybe we do get a fall back down to the 96 level. I mean, it's a long way down, but considering how high it's gone, and how swiftly it's gone, that really could happen. So UK market has just opened up, and I'm going to check the breadth. Oh, sorry, mate. Do you know what? Let's get to the pound trade if there is a pound trade on.
There is a pound trade. Yep.
Okay, let's do that.
Roger D. Okay. I'm having lots of troubles with share screening at the moment. So if you tell me if I've got the right screen up, that would be good. 129.93 is the sell, 129.93, and we are just about there, and I haven't even got the trade on. And the stop loss is 130.18. And now we're through entry. I'm going to let that go back through. I'm not going to set a limit entry order. I'll let it go back through. I've missed the entry. 130.18. Okay, so we'll see what happens here. I'm not going to place this as a limit entry order. I'll let it go back here, and then I'll place the order. If it doesn't go back here, then so sad, too bad. I don't like placing limit entry orders too much. So for that reason, I'm not going to. Okay, so we're climbing back above it now. Get back up there. Okay, that'll do. Won't let me. It's going to have to go higher. Get up there. Go on. I'll just keep trying this, guys. But I'll give you the levels anyway. The levels for the sell are 1.2993 and the stop loss is 1.3018. TP1 at 1.2982. TP2 at 1.2943. And for the long, yeah, I would still consider that. 1.3026. Stop loss 1.3015. Take profit 1.3031. Take profit 2, 1.3048. So if I get above here enough to allow me to get in, it's on a buy limit. I don't want to buy limit. I want to buy stop. I will take the sell. Well, I will place the sell and leave both in the market. But if not, in particular, if we go down to TP1, I'll just cancel both orders. We'll see. We might be allowed in here in a minute. Like watching paint dry, isn't it? Okay, I'll do a bit of analysis on this. Oh, hi, John. You missed this morning. Actually, I'll go to that because we have placed an order this morning on Kiwi CAD. Kiwi CAD short. I've just got to find the chart. There it is. We're actually in that now. By the looks of things, the entry was below the daily bar, and we are looking to take profit here at, I can hardly read it, 0.8683, I think, is the order. The sell entry was, I should have that on my screen. I don't know why I haven't. I'll go to my personal account and tell you what they are. Okay, entry level is 0.8730. Stop loss is 0.8784. TP1 is at 0.8685. And that's the order. So 0.8730, we're bang on it now pretty much. The stop loss is 0.8784. And TP1 is 0.8685. Okay, how's the pound doing? Looks like we've missed out here, guys. 29.82. Still got a fair bit to go before TP1. But I'll just monitor this, and if I get a second chance to enter, I will. If not, if it hits TP1, we'll cancel the order, right? Otherwise, I'll just weigh up my options. Now, I've got a funny feeling today, Ash, that we will see movement. You're not so much. You're thinking it's
what, in the euro?
Well, pound in particular, I suppose, not so much the euro.
Oh no, I think we will see movement. Yeah, it's but I wonder whether the movement to the downside in the euro pound, so the movement to the upside in the pound is kind of being baked in. That's what I mean by that. The movement, I think, right now might start to reverse a little bit, just because I think the movement that we saw in the euro pound yesterday was really in anticipation of a cancellation of the stupid deadline that Boris Johnson's put in place, which is it today or tomorrow? It's today, isn't it? But because of that, I just anticipated some euro pound weakness, and I traded that. But I've closed those positions now because I'm now looking for a bit of a bounce back. Now, I still think the euro pound comes down, and I'm gonna get back into that position. If it pops up a little bit for me. I still think the euro pound comes down. I think that it seems like there's quite a bit of pressure coming from Germany to France to try and sort out the fisheries issue. And as soon as they get that fisheries issue done, then I suspect the rest of the deal will probably fall into place quite nicely. And that's the point that I think that we see some further downside in the euro pound. But there is still a chance that Boris Johnson walks away from the negotiations. It's a weak chance, but as I was saying yesterday to Orlando, when the euro was flying to the upside against the pound, and I sold it. You see the right of the highs there. Now there's actually the channel that you've got. I've also got a trend line. If you were to draw a line from the high, going through all the highs, then there was a pretty nice trend line there, and I sold it on those highs. Again, I sold it a little bit lower than that, as you know, and then I sold it again at those highs because I just didn't think that that there wouldn't be some kind of concession from the UK, and that did happen. But I think today what we've probably got is maybe just a little bit of profit taking from the pound buyers against the euro as we go into this kind of slightly, there's a little bit more guesswork going in today, I think.
Well, it is its turn, isn't it? It's the buyer's turn. If you take this black, white, black, white, black, white.
Yes,
black,
yes.
It's their turn, really, isn't it?
And I don't think it's going significantly higher. I think it just will create a selling opportunity, and I will get back into this because I do think that a deal will be done. I think it would be suicide, particularly right now for both parties, not to do a deal. And if it's just getting stuck on fisheries and it's just getting stuck on France, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure put on France for that deal to be done. So, I'm going to get back into the euro versus the pound short, but I wouldn't mind it a little bit higher. I'm looking for where am I looking? Around about 0.9551, so about 20 points higher than where we are now, and I'll be trading this one short again. So
I'm still trying to place this order and it won't let me. Have I got the wrong levels on or something? Pound. 1.2993. What's wrong with that? 1.3018. What's wrong with that? Nothing. There's a gap. What
you got there? So you got pending order, buy, stop. Is the sell already triggered?
Shouldn't be.
No. Okay.
No, there's nothing happening. There's no order in the market.
What time frame on here on the hourly?
Sell stop. Let me try again, as Frank Sinatra would say.
Those cryptocurrencies are holding up quite well.
Let me do it that time. Okay, now we're going to place the long as well. So are we in any more trades since I had a day off or not?
No, I've got a long on the FTSE, which I'm just going to let run. I'm not using any leverage, so I'm just going to let it come right down and get back in again. Didn't take my short on the Nasdaq, which now I'm regretting. But I think with the Nasdaq, my overriding sort of view on it is that really I want a long. So it kind of put me off taking the short, but it has proved to be an expensive decision because that would have been a really nice trade. I picked out the highs, but just didn't manage to get into that. But so be it. You know, that's the way that one goes. But no, aside from a long in the, I've got a long in the FTSE, and I'm still long on Ethereum, and I'm looking for that to continue to the upside.
I've got a few possibilities here that are setting up that I'm not too fond of. And the reason is they're against my bias, but that is not a very, very good position to take, because you're still got to trade what you see. And the first of them is the euro, but yeah, I've got a terrible price and a terrible reward to risk. I don't want to trade the euro long, but it's a very clear false break here for me.
Yeah, well, the euro, as I say, mate, I think the euro is in a bit of trouble here because the dollar seems to be back in focus and back in focus for some positivity.
Really?
And with the swell going on in the European Union, it does seem to be a currency that will probably react fairly badly to what we've got going on. It's really about timing, isn't it? You know, you might well have a long for a little while, and I'm looking for a long in the dollar Swiss, but this one definitely looks a bit about timing. I've just got a bit of an issue really with what's going on politically right now, and it's making it a bit trickier to make a decision on some of these currencies. Yes, Helen, the pound is on the move, isn't it? Very much so. Which makes it quite exciting in many respects. But I think things die down again with the pound. I think we push back again. We got a European summit, I think, tomorrow, and there could be a little bit of a pushback against that. Wouldn't be surprised to see some stabilizing just before that summit. And it's really going to come from we're going to see whether there will be some movements between really France and you know the rest of the negotiators as to whether we get something going on there with Brexit.
Yeah, I'm still keen to get long pound Kiwi, and I just can't find a way in. Won't happen.
Sino saying, do you think the euro yen and the euro dollar and the Aussie pairs have room to go down further? Just before you look at that, mate, just on your previous comment, Sino, regretting not entering into the short trades.
I thought you were in euro yen, Sino.
No, he was afraid that prices would reverse against him. Couldn't manage the fears. Do you know, Sino? Do you know what I would do? In this scenario, I would allocate yourself a specific amount of your account that you are going to say, this money is just it's just going to go, and I'm going to trade freely with this money, and it's got to be an amount that you're comfortable with. You know, whether it's $50 or whether it's $250, doesn't matter. But just allocate a certain amount of your account that you're just going to say that is gone, and then you trade it properly with just tiny amounts of risk. You know, so if you've got $250, then allocate $50 per trade. And you know, the likelihood is you're going to be wrong on all of them is slim. But do $50 a trade, and just try and put the trade on with minimal risk. You know, just don't over leverage, because it sounds to me like you need to get over the psychology before you start putting too much money in. But if you're trying to trade at full risk, you know, just to try and make some money before you get your head in the right place, then that's where things become quite dangerous. So try and get your head right, and even if it means that you go to a demo account for a while, no big deal at all. Because if you can get your psychology in the right place, then you'll be a lot quicker in the long run, when you come to try and take the trade. So yeah, try and get your head right, and the best way to do that, as I say, is minimal risk with minimal amounts of cash, or a demo account. Is, you know, both of those two scenarios would be absolutely fine.
Mate, you're probably not as peeved as I am in not getting in on euro yen. Man, we were just waiting for it, and I think you and I got off onto another subject, Ash, while that candle was forming, and came back, and there it was, done.
Yeah.
And you know what? I still think it's got further to go.
Yeah,
I do. But yeah, getting in now is a very tricky exercise. You've really got to wait for the pullback. Because
I've missed a few myself, mate. I've got to be honest. I've missed a few trades myself this week.
This has
been a good week, to be fair, but yeah, it is frustrating when you miss them.
I haven't had a good week yet. In fact, we've had two losers, one on the hourly and the euro dollar, which was just bad timing, I guess. But it happens. But we're going pretty good. Euro pound, euro CAD, I think, still going okay. Where's that? Yeah. Now, the Aussie pairs is a great question. Sino, and I'm totally against the downside. I'm a bull, the Aussie. Now, it continues to crash. There's no question there. Euro CAD's still going okay. CAD Swiss we need to manage, guys. I think, yeah, maybe too late to manage it. What are we? We're halfway there. We're halfway between entry and stop loss. We might come back to it. Let's talk about the Aussie pairs. Now, it just won't stop at the moment. There's no question about that. And we had numbers today which were kind of each way, I thought, the unemployment figures, because they were a beat on expectations, but they were not a beat on the previous. In fact, they were worse than the previous. So that, with the China thing that's going on, has obviously given the market reason to sell off again. I'm just waiting for the opportunity to get a bounce here. Maybe that's the level on Aussie CAD, maybe it's not, I don't know. I certainly won't be trading it as okay, I think it's gone far enough, let's go. That's not the way I do it. Aussie dollar's the same, continuing to crash. Aussie Kiwi is the one that I'm really keen on, also continuing to crash. And what I think I've really got to find is a level that it can bounce from. That's a bit tricky, I've got to say. Maybe it's here. Maybe it's there. And my opinion is based on not so much the fundamentals that are, well, obviously not the fundamentals that are going on at the moment, but the fact that on the bigger time frames, this is Aussie Kiwi, you've still got a big double bottom sitting here. You've got a higher, 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 lower, higher, high, And now I'm looking for that level. Maybe that is the level, that one there. So we're not far from it. So I'm looking to trade this long. That's Aussie Kiwi, and there's no way I can do it at the moment. I've got to wait for a reversal of some kind, some hint that it's going to go long. And at the moment, it's just not there. In Euro Aussie, I'm in the same opinion, going the other way. At least I've got something to work with here. We've now approached that high. If you have a look at the daily chart, that high is very, very solid. And we've been here since June. It's been support through April. And if you go back even further, it's been resistance through here. This is a true level for this pair. Look how often we've been outside this level or this range. Not often at all. Okay, I might be a bit tight on it in this vicinity, but I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be looking to trade this short at the first opportunity that I get. And that may not come for a week, I don't know, but I'll certainly be waiting on it. This will be the first opportunity as a potential false break of the resistance trend line. So yeah, I'm waiting on that. On all the Aussie pairs, I'm waiting for reversals because then, well, I won't call them knee-jerk reactions, but a couple of things. And I read the statement from Philip Lowe, which took place, I think, on Tuesday night, or was it last night? Can't remember. And I didn't read as much into it as I've read in the headlines. The headlines are saying that Philip Lowe is hinting, I think, but someone used even the number. They said that the RBA was going to cut interest rates to 0.1%. And I've read that now 3 times, the statement, and I haven't seen anything like that in that statement, unless, of course, that guy was there and full of beer and asked him after the event. I've got no idea. But I read that in Al Jazeera or somewhere like that. It certainly wasn't in a local newspaper. So I don't think that the market is really reacting to the right scenario. And again, I'm no economist and I'm not qualified to really analyse an economic statement. But from my point of view, I didn't see anything in that statement that said they are definitely going to cut interest rates, and certainly not a number that wasn't there. If you've read the statement yourself, you'll probably, and he spoke about 3 different ingredients as to why they were considering interest rate cuts. And at no stage did he say they were going to cut interest rates. What he did say is he gave pros and cons in those 3 particular items. And there was no conclusion. So these people have drawn their own conclusion, in my humble opinion. And yes, it's on the back of the China thing. So there's a whole lot of fundamental stuff going on against the Aussie. I absolutely grant that. But that won't hold forever, in my humble opinion. And as we get to technical levels, that's where I'll be looking to take advantage of that. So Aussie pairs, most definitely on my radar in a big way. Trade management. Euro pound, I am considering tightening this up or taking a little bit more off the table, but I'm only considering it. I'm not. One part of me says that there will be volatility as a result of these, whatever they are, meetings today and ongoing. One part of me saying keep my stops wide for that reason. The other part of me saying that if there is no deal, then, or the deal's anti-Britain, then this comes back up here and no stop's going to save me anyway. We're going to have a new high. So that's kind of on my mind. So I'm tossing that up either way. Yeah, and I still don't know. I haven't really made a decision on that. I might have a look at a little bit of price action and see how that works out. CAD Swiss, as I said, I was considering, this is what happens. You start talking and you take your eyes off the charts for 5 seconds and it all changes. I was considering scaling out of this here at minus whatever it was. I was actually waiting for it to come to the daily pivot to do that at about -4 pips. And the reason for that is that I see price action here in the double top that doesn't really suit me. I mean, I'm not saying it can't go, but the Swissy seems to be strong. We seem to be going risk off. And for those two reasons, we're probably in a little bit of strife here. Maybe the pivots are going to save us. If we do get down here, maybe they're not. But it seems to me that the momentum is definitely in a risk-off frame of mind. And we've now had a break and retest of that little intraday trade line, which suggests to me that these guys may well in fact take over. Where are we? 37. So we're 19. We're exactly halfway between our entry and our stop loss. I'll look at one more candle and then make a decision on that. If it's too late, it's too late. So be it. What other trade management do we need to do? EuroCAD. EuroCAD, same kind of thing as I have with Euro Pound. In fact, I think I need to tighten up here. We have taken our first profit, but I think again, if the euro does take off, and we do go into a risk-off situation, and the euro is benefited by the Brexit thing, then this will probably go to new highs as well. We've got the monthly pivot, the weekly pivot trend line here, providing us with resistance. So I think I'm going to move my stop from where it is now to about this level here. Round about 156.08 by the look of it, which would mean that we've now got 50 pips of risk instead of 200. So we've quartered our risk and we've taken a third off the table. So that should pretty much give us a better than break-even trade. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move my stops to 156.08. Where is it here? $1.5608. Okay, so that takes all the risk off the table pretty much on that trade. Look, I still think that it's got absolute great potential because of what we've been looking at all the time, and that's the Batman mask. But the Batman mask is now becoming a Scotch Terrier, and that's okay. Scotch Terriers have a neck also, so we'll see how that pans out. I don't think I have anything else really at the moment. Oh, euro dollar, we were speaking about that, weren't we? Let me have a look at the hourly chart. Yeah, no, it's a little bit too messy to trade. I think that's pretty much where I'm at, mate, at the moment. Nowhere to go. All revved up.
Well, when the market's on the move like this, it's you know, it's difficult to get in now, isn't it? It's you'd really want to have trades on and running.
Apart from the Aussie, I'm pretty keen to trade the reversals, or the reversal of momentum. Not really the reversal of trend, but the reversal of momentum. I'm keen to trade on the Aussie pairs, and I'll be watching those like a hawk.
Interesting numbers as well from China today, showing a lack of growth. Actually, CPI is year on year down at 1.7%. So a lack of inflation there. PPI is year on year. We got 2.1%, and aside from that, not a great deal. We got the EU economic summits going on all day today as well, where they'll be talking about Brexit, no doubt, and seeing if they can get some kind of movements from France. I think, you know, if France is the only one, I'll be surprised if it is, but if France is the only one that is in the way, then I suspect they probably will be moved aside. So you know, much to Macron's chagrin, I would have thought, I think that Merkel will probably win that one over, and we should see something positive from that summit, I would suspect. But there's certainly an anticipation. Just looking at the markets and the charts, there's definitely an anticipation for a Brexit deal to be done. Looking at the way things are right now, but market breadth is very, very weak this morning. So we've only got out of the whole of the FTSE 100, we've got one stock in positive territory, and that is Just Eat Takeaway, which is up 0.5%. So everything else is pointing down. So not the day to be scaling into any positions, that's for sure. And as I say, if the market wants to come down, I say let it come, and let's see if we can pick something up down the bottom. But the only one that is of interest for me is the dollar. I think the dollar doesn't look like it's stretched its legs just yet, and that could be an opportunity because of that.
I can't read it, mate. The dollar, it's too hard, I reckon.
Yeah, you're looking at the euro, the dollar index there. Yeah, basically it's the dollar Swissy that interests me. But
why so?
Well, it looks similar to the dollar index anyway. But either euro dollar or dollar Swissy would be good. But the dollar Swissy looks to me like it hasn't gone, and I think the dollar, it does appear to be the one that could strengthen here. Let me see if I can find it. Where are you? Dollar Swissy is always the one that I lose on my. There it is. All right, let me bring it in over here.
Show me.
So dollar Swissy. Look at the Nasdaq, mate. That is looking pretty toppy now. Okay, so dollar Swiss. I like the pattern. I like the what's going on down here. I really like that. So it looks like accumulation has started here, but it doesn't look like it's gone just yet. Let me just bring in this with pivots. Yeah, so it still appears that it needs to get above the monthly pivot right now, and that would coincide pretty nicely with this just with a little bit of resistance here. So it appears to me like a falling. Well, it might even be a bit of a broadening pattern going on there. So it does need to get through this trend line. But if we consider what's happened with everything else has just done that and gone. Whereas this one, if it really does depend on what the story is, but I suspect a stimulus package will probably boost the dollar, and even though we haven't had an announcement on that stimulus package, there will be some anticipation of that coming. But we've just got to wait. But at least this is something to wait on, where everything else is moving. At least the dollar Swiss looks like it could be something to anticipate some further moves to the upside. It's held this area here. Now the question is, where's the value on the dollar Swissy? Where's the real value? I mean, it looks like it's broken through here as well, mate. I mean, it looks like the daily pivot is potentially going to act as some kind of support for the dollar Swissy, just underneath it right now. But a close above this area down here is the line, isn't it? So the only question I think right now is, does it come down here one more time to give us a lower entry, or has this higher high actually created the start of a trend? And if you're looking at it on the 15, there's just about enough room, before taking profit. That line might be a bit tighter as anything.
You got a bit of a double cross going on there too.
You like that?
Mm-hmm.
So for upside?
Yep.
Yeah. 18 to the upside, 11 down. So I'd be quite keen down here. I'll be quite keen down there. If this one could drop down there, let's just have a look on the 5. Just what's the likelihood? Might well take this. Looks like support there. Just about whether it can reduce the risk a bit. It's where it comes to, isn't it? Let me just draw this line in here. Yeah, that looks like the level to me. 0.91319. No, unfortunately, I don't have a trade manager, and I need to work out how much it's going to cost first. 0.91320, I'm going to be going in at 1.91320. The stops are the lows, 0.91257. Let me see what that costs. Oh, I can go in a bit more on this. So actually,
you're nailing it, mate. What do you got? A modified slingshot? What are you trading, bud?
I'm just trading a
No, Shukri, I'm talking to you, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Let's put that in there. Right, if this comes down, what did I say? 0.9132. 0.9132, and I'm going to get in here. Ah. Oh, no, that's it's bounced higher than I wanted to there. One more bite here. So it looks like 0.9133 is the area.
Cheers, Shukri. Can't wait to hear it.
Ah, man, missed it. Missed out on that one, mate. 91327. 1357. Where does that get me? Oh gosh, no, don't do that. I think I've missed it. I think I've missed it. I don't think that's going to come and give me another chance now. I'll put it in, mate, but I don't think this is going to come back. Is there any point? Yeah, there's a point, isn't there? Come on then. Let's see if that'll come back. 91327. 91327. And if it gets triggered, then I'll just shift the stops down. That's the problem with not having a trade manager or something. You just have to work out what your lot size is going to be, and then mess about with it. But just have to hope for the best, mate. Hope I get triggered in on that one now. It literally touched my level and reacted. Actually, it was just before my level and reacted, so I wouldn't have got triggered in anyway. Anyway, let's not watch paint dry. The FTSE is continuing its move down, but it's just managed to find some support down here. But the thing is, and these are the areas that that I would be interested in picking this up, but I'm not interested in the FTSE at all at this particular level, at this particular time, because there's just so much negativity. The S&P, look at the S&P on the weekly, that is looking negative already. And again, that's going to need to find some, that's going to need to catch a bid if that's going to move to the upside. So there's a few things of interest.
Big exhaustion going on there, you reckon?
Yeah, for sure, mate. Yes, I would suspect. Now I'm going to need to put this dollar Swiss on my other account if I can. So let me just take 5 minutes just to work out my levels here.
Do you need a break?
Yeah, give me 2 minutes and I'll be back with you.
Okay, sure thing. I'm going to have a look at some relative strength indicators. What am I trying to do here? Share that screen, I think. Yeah. Okay. Relative strength indicators. Let's have a look. Well, it's not really indicators. It's just a little statement. Let's see what I can find over here on my good friend FinViz. Now, in isolation, you don't see too much here. Well, you do. You see that the dollar's strongest today. And in order, we've got Swissy, Euro, CAD, Yen, which is interesting because there's a mixture there of, well, neutral, I believe, risk off, neutral, risk on, risk off, risk on, risk on. So it's not risk on day, but the CAD's outperforming the commodity currencies, interestingly, on the day. What does that mean in context? If you keep your eye on this part of the screen, Aussie, Kiwi, pound, yen. If we go to the weekly chart, which means a week from now, not this week, you can see a change, not in the Aussie. Aussie's still weak, but the euro has come right down. Swissy's gone up a bit. Kiwi's the same. CAD's gone up a bit. Interesting. Monthly. CAD's still going up. Aussie's still weak. Kiwi's still weak. Euro's still weak. Swissy is around about the same, but the yen was stronger and the pound was stronger. So the pound's coming back to the field only by a little bit, and the yen throughout a week. Sorry, I'm going to have to sneeze. Maybe I don't have to sneeze. But the dollar is the one. The dollar's the performer. And now, if you look at the daily chart now, you're actually seeing a different story. This is risk off material right here, without question. And the three stooges, the three commodity currencies, which are the risk on currencies, are clearly now in the red. So that's telling me pretty much everything I need to know at this point in time. Swissy's strong, yen's strong, the dollar's coming back. Euro's interesting, and the pound's interesting. I just want to compare those two. So pound, euro on the day. Euro's outperforming the pound slightly. It's not much, over the week. Pound way outperforming the euro, as we all know from the charts. Over the month, pound definitely outperforming the euro, as we know. And let's even go to the quarter. And same story. So the only conclusion that I can draw from that is that we're seeing a retracement today, euro pound, but it's not by much. They're pretty much line ball. But really, I can definitely tell you that this is intimating to me that we are absolutely, without doubt, risk off at this point. We're only early in the day, of course. But the Aussie is the tragic story, and we all know why. There's no secret there. The Aussies had a shit full of bad news. It's pretty much as simple as that.
And I've entered the pound. I've entered the dollar Swissy, mate. I've entered the dollar Swissy 0.9134.
All right, mate. Do we need to show us?
Yeah, let me show you. I've decided to get into. I've decided to get into it. Oops. Decided to get going because what am I looking at here? Just going to shift this down. It's only a kind of light trade here, but yeah, I've decided to get in it. It kind of just came down. Didn't quite hit my my level, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to get the chance. So let me write this up for you guys. Now this is on the company account. So it is USD versus the Swissy, and it is a long at 0.9134 with a stop loss at 0.9125. Now the take profit area is going to be on the trend line. So let's just work out where that's going to be. And it'll be a TP1. I'll try and leave the rest on if possible, if we get going. Take profit 1 is going to be up here, 0.9155. Is that right? Yeah, 0.9155. So it could be near enough the 3-to-1 by the time we get there. If we get there. So there's the TP1, and then you know it's the take profit 2 will just be trailing. So I'm not going to put a target in on that one because it's going to be a soft target regardless. So trailing, and the trailing will depend on the velocity of the movement. If it's a really good movement to the upside, I'll be trading on a 15. If it's gentle, then I'll come down to trading on an hourly or something like that. So that's the trade, mate. It's now live in the market, and we will see how that turns out.
All right, bud. It's going to take us about an hour and a half to do the journal tonight. I think we might have to have an out of session meeting or something.
Yeah, you got a lot to update, right?
Yeah, well, I've got still 3 or 4 trades in the market, and 2 that we haven't updated. They were the 2 losers.
Okay, all right, we'll do that. We will. I will try and get my ones done before, and then we're just updating yours, so it'd be just hopefully a bit easier that way. And then we'll discuss the journal tonight. If there's nothing to trade, that is, we'll discuss the journal tonight in a bit of detail and you know just do some analysis on it and see if we can start to get some kind of rhythm and pattern. And I think it's is it next week that we're going to be with John, or is it the week after? Probably the week after, isn't it? 22nd. Yeah, 27th. Yeah, we'll do with John. So we got another couple of weeks with the journal, which would be great. Actually, we'll have a whole month then to kind of like really look at the journal and see if we can start to see anything forming. We'll certainly start to we'll certainly have a look at some patterns that have maybe been forming over the last month anyway.
John's working hard on his FOMO, which is awesome.
Brilliant. That's really good. Is the journal helping, by the way, with that, John? Is it helping you? Is it helping you kind of define ideas better? Sorry, Sino. Brilliant. Sino, the dollar Swiss D1 forming a right shoulder of a head and shoulders. I don't know. I mean, when I looked at this, I know what you mean. I do know what you mean, and that was my first thought on it. Is this a? I kind of concur with that as a potential point of analysis. Where's that gone now? There it is. I think what you're saying is this a right shoulder here, making this all the head, and meaning this is the left shoulder? And I did look at that, and I did wonder as well. It's do we? And it's not a particularly nice. I don't like head and shoulders like this, because the head and shoulder pattern like this is notoriously well, they're just a bit negative. It's a really negative head and shoulders, because the way that the right shoulder is so much lower than the left, so it's not a positive head and shoulders. If you're going to get a head and shoulders where the shoulders don't meet, it's kind of better to have them like that. Sorry, not that. It's better to have them if they look like this, where the right shoulder is just so much higher than the left. It's just a lot more positive. But we've got we got something different. We've got this going on. If it is a head and shoulders, where the right shoulder is lower, so they're not particularly positive. But I did wonder that myself, and you could be right. And actually, when we draw the neckline, if there is a neckline along here, that does look pretty clean, doesn't it, for a neckline? Meaning that this would be a really good point to actually consider a second profit target on that one. So yeah, you could be right. I did think that myself, that we might actually be forming an inverted head and shoulders on a longer term pattern here. This one down here that we saw before was the one that I was kind of looking at, where we have this. But this is the thing about these patterns: you can get patterns within patterns, and we've almost got a head and shoulders there, an inverted head and shoulders there, and then possibly a broader inverted head and shoulders here going on, where this actually becomes more of a head. But because of the length of time, what I prefer to do is see if that was to form on a weekly chart instead, and it doesn't look as clean on the weekly chart to suggest that that's the pattern that we could be potentially trading. But it's definitely possible. And I think regardless of whether it is or it isn't, I think this does actually now become a pretty attractive target. So I'd like to see whether we can get that target. I mean, that would be a 10-to-1, on the second half. So potentially 3-to-1 on the first half and a 10-to-1 on the second half would be a really attractive risk reward ratio. So could be a bit of a month changer, that one. If we're fairly flat and we kind of we get a 10-to-1 on half, which is a 5-to-1, and then and a 3-to-1 on the other half, then we're looking at 6% on a potential trade there. 6.5% on a trade, which you only need that one trade in the whole month, and you are making all you need to make to double your account every year. So let's see. It could be. I like the spot, mate. I like what you're saying. If that's what you were talking about.
Was I? I don't know. Sorry, I've been doing charts.
Oh no, Sino. I was just talking about Sino. Sino was saying,
okay.
Yeah, meaning price will go up to form the right shoulder. Yeah, it absolutely could do. I'll tell you what we need to do, just to get a bit more clarity on it, is say that is this. Similar in price, in movement. Oops. Can't get that now. There we go. Yeah, I mean, it's got a little bit more work to do, isn't it? But it could, so that would suggest if it was within that range before the end of the month, then that would probably be a take profit to area rather than looking for it to go through. So we will see. But you know, so far it's reacting at this lower line, at this lower level. Whether it continues to react positively is going to be the question. Needs to get above that that daily pivot. That's the big thing here, and it's trying. It's definitely trying. I'll tell you what, a day of monthly pivot looks like might even be a better point. Yeah, that's our 3 to 1. So the monthly pivot is going to be our first target, I suspect. Yeah, it might be a day of waiting. We might see this form, and then maybe if it has formed by tomorrow, then we might well start to see a genuine move to the upside. And the monthly pivot looks like a pretty good area. There's going to be some resistance in here. But if we can get through that area there, then we could be aiming at 91.67. That's probably the better take profit area. But what I will probably do is look for this point here to move stops. And just to break even if it comes up there, rather than it retracing all the way back down again, because it'll still have to get through. You know, the entry actually is pretty good because it's below the daily pivot, so it'd have to get through that daily pivot. So that hopefully will protect us enough. There's not a lot of not many pips in between the two, but hopefully that'll protect us enough. Even if we can just move stops up a little bit, you know, under this level, just to make it a very small risk on the trade. But anyway, we will see. We will see.
You sorted, mate, from it?
What's that, buddy?
Are you sorted there from it?
Yeah, it's absolutely sorted. Just a quick update on the FTSE 100. We are finding some support down here, but we've got no market breadth whatsoever. Market breadth is just dead on its knees. Actually, the best performer is HSBC. Surprisingly, I don't know if something went on with Hong Kong recently, but HSBC is the outperformer in the FTSE 100 because it's only down 0.025%, whereas everything else is plummeting.
Hong Kong could do with some decent news, couldn't it? Wow.
Oh, absolutely could. Yeah. The travel industry yet again getting hammered on the UK market. Whitbread down 5.7% and interconsolidated airlines down 5%. So the travel industry, and then Royal Dutch Shell down 3.5% as well, mate. So it's looking pretty grim out there right now. Every single stock in the FTSE 100 has sold off this morning, and if we get any kind of bounce, then it's just relatively, the selling isn't quite as deep as it was when we opened up, but it's looking pretty grim at this stage.
Interesting. It seems risk is absolutely completely off the table right now.
Yeah.
Why do you think that might be?
Well, the pandemic has certainly taken hold of the UK again.
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah, we've got a three-tier lockdown going on at this particular stage. So that really hasn't helped things at all. And I think really for the FTSE that, you know, one of the other difficult things is when, you know, as we look at this this euro versus the pound, or as we look at the pound dollar, look at what's happened to the pound over the last few periods. It's really moved to the upside, and that hasn't helped the FTSE out at all. You know, the FTSE needs, or not needs, but it does react better with some genuine pound weakness. So because the pound is a bit stronger, the FTSE is just one of those markets which is just having an absolute hammering right now. You know, because the UK businesses can't aren't quite as competitive in this particular period. But the pandemic is the big problem. It really is. And also, it's not just about that. If we consider what's been going on with the S&P, and we consider what's been going on with the Dow and the Nasdaq, forgetting the look at the DAX. The DAX is plummeting very, very badly. The Nasdaq is weaker, but this seems to be also about stimulus. So I think, but because the stimulus talks haven't really kind of moved forward, and it's a bit like Brexit. What is it? Will they? Won't they? They seem to be far apart, and I wouldn't be surprised if we just see a bit of just a bit of profit taking. Just some profit taking going on in these areas, and the Nasdaq manages to drift down here. We try and get back in again, depending on the timing of that. I think that'll be okay, as long as the pandemic hasn't reared its ugly head again. And it's very similar to where we were back in March and April. You remember every time that they had an announcement that there was going to be a vaccination being released, the market would boom, even though there was nothing. There was no clarity on when. It was just the fact that there might be a vaccination being released. The market would boom. Now, Johnson & Johnson stopped their trials yesterday, and AstraZeneca also haven't picked up their trials in the United States again as yet. They're going on to phase 3 over here, but I think in the United States they've been stopped. So I think the lack of vaccine, the fact that we've got no trade stimulus in the offing, it looks like those talks have stumbled. And for the FTSE, there's the added issue of the pound. It's just not the right environment right now for stocks. But we know that if the United States sneezes, then the rest of the world gets a cold, and that's really what's happened. The United States sold off, so right across the board, everybody sold off. I haven't checked that. Yeah, even the Hang Seng, it's everything is down today. And having a pretty poor time of it. So it becomes a buying opportunity, mate, and it's just waiting for things to turn around. I haven't seen the numbers as yet change negatively for the United States. I think the numbers in the UK are looking a bit grim. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that the fact that China's CPI data, this data that we've had out of China today, which is up next. Let's have a look at this way. The CPI data out of China. Why is that doing that? Here, so there's no inflation there. I don't think that helped. The PPIs as well were negative 2.1%. That hasn't helped. So it's just a bit of a catalogue of events that aren't helping things right now.
Yeah,
Trump won't be happy.
Why not?
Well, he does not want to see a lower stock market before the election.
No, no, true.
He needs something to brag about.
But he'll then turn, if the dollar goes strong, he'll just say the dollar's strong.
Yeah. He'll find something, no doubt.
There's no losing, Donald. It's just
a
matter of degrees, isn't it? Really, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, what's the state of the nation today with these meetings? Do we get a result today, or are they ongoing? What's the story?
With the EU. Possibly. I think it's going to depend on really the mood music between the fisheries, the fishery argument. I think if the mood music changes positively about the fisheries and France, Germany can put enough pressure on France to move that particular discussion along, then it could well be just to do with today and tomorrow we start to see things ease in a more positive way again. But it really does depend on that particular issue. Is there still a sticking point by the end of today? Do France budge? Do they continue to kind of play hardball with the UK?
So you don't see any positions to take, really?
Not unless the euro was to. No, if the euro strengthens enough to the upside against the pound, I think there's still a trade with the pound euro to get in short. But I wonder whether we might actually not go anywhere today with the euro So euro pound. So I want it up higher because there's, I think there will be a deal now. I just think that the deal is ever more likely. So if the deal can be done, then we obviously are going to see a stronger pound and a weaker euro initially. But
they're not going to walk in the room and sign the paper today.
No, not today. Not today. No.
Okay, so there we go. It may be, in fact, a stalemate until we do get a signature on some papers. But
yes, yeah, I think this is going to the wire, mate. Still, I think that Boris Johnson, the most likely thing to happen here is that Boris Johnson says, "Okay, let's extend beyond my ridiculous date and talk a bit more."
Okay, cool. I've got a couple of questions that I need to answer, and a couple of charts to look at. Then I'm done, mate. Righto, let's have a quick squiz around the place now. Questions, and the most important one is from Dennis. Why hasn't that shared? That should have shared. And he's suggesting that the Bunnies and the Lions will win on the weekend, which of course is double Dutch to anybody who's got no idea what he's talking about. He's talking about the Brisbane Lions I think they've got the Tigers. That might be a tough game. In the AFL, and he's talking about the Rabbitohs who play the Penrith Panthers. I'm pretty sure that's right. Yes, that's right. In the National Rugby League. So both tough calls. I've got to say. But anyway, if both of them win, I think you got a pretty good double going there, mate. That's for sure. Other questions which are non-related to that were CAD Swiss. Okay, nice, Shukri, nice. CAD Swiss, I think I answered that question earlier and seen it, but do we now close half the position to save some money? Tell you what I think might be a good idea. I think if we go through that level there, no, we've still got the pivots. I was going to say close the whole lot, but I don't agree with that either. Look, it's tilted 50-50. It really is. It's a 50-50 call from here. But I've got absolutely no reason, I've got to say, to think that the CAD has got bad credentials. But against the Swissy, because we're risk off, that complicates the issue without question. And if you have a look at this chart, I'll just get rid of that because we're out of it. It's still on the way up. Double bottom, if you like. Higher high, higher low, higher high. Why wouldn't we be looking for a higher low here till we get to that level? That was the basis of the trade was pretty much based on this higher high, higher low. Okay, we didn't get the higher high here, but we certainly got the higher low. And I absolutely am thinking that we're going to hit. Of course, fundamentals and market sentiment have different ideas, and that's the trick, I suppose, of being able to get your stop loss in the right place. But if you're taking no risk at all by putting your stop here or here, then your reward has to come up to here before you actually get anything in the bank. So it's a juggling act. There's no question about that. If you're not comfortable with the risk that's on the table, and I think this is 0.5%, we went in this is 0.5%, then yes, I would take half off if I were you at this point. Now I'm comfortable with my analysis. Am I comfortable with having 0.5% on the table? What are we at now? 14 versus 36. So we're somewhere between a third and half of our risk. When in doubt, do nothing is the old saying. I have no reason. I don't believe, apart from the fact that the Swiss is strong today, to say get out of here. We've got an untested daily pivot. I'm going to hang in, right? I'm going to hang in. But if you're uncomfortable being at 0.5% risk, then absolutely take something off the table. If you're really uncomfortable, close the position. And I've always said that. If you're uncomfortable being in the market, you're far better off being out looking in than in looking out. So that's my answer, I suppose, to the question. And you can see that we're absolutely in a range here. Yes, it'll break out, but where, who knows? Am I expecting a mood change today? Yes, I absolutely am expecting a mood change today. Finviz, do the week and month refer to future or past? Definitely the past, I know. That's all about what happened in the previous 20 trading days, basically. It's not actually the month of October, but it's the 15th of October going back to the 15th of September. So if you want to know what's happening this month, you go on month to date, which is MTD, of course. SF, breakout Aussie, channel D1. Okay, let's take a look at that. Aussie channel D1, which will be the bottom, that'll be the bottom of your channel, which is my trend line, right? So here's how I see that. And you're absolutely right, no question. We have broken out of this channel here. I'm sure you guys can see that. I'll use my pen if you can't. So that's not very good, but that's the channel I think that that SF is talking about, and absolutely right, has broken out. That's a daily chart, and I get that. And when we break support, what are we looking to do? We're going to the next level of support, which in my opinion is that level there. Why am I basing it on that level there? 70.68 as I've got it. Well, let's take a look at that. Does it have credentials? Let's go a bit wider. I think it does. It may be a little bit lower than that, but it's definitely in that vicinity. There's a bit of a cloud of a price there, isn't there? It's kind of there, let's say there. So another 20 pips, but that's the important level as far as I'm concerned. That's what a lot of people today are calling the key level, and I totally get with that. So there I see this breakout going to that level there, 70.43-ish, which is another 50 pips to the south side. Once it gets there, then I see the picture change dramatically. And I'll be looking at this to continue. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, looking for a higher high. So if we didn't take out the low, then I'll be looking for a new high. Monthly chart, I don't know supports that greatly. Well, yes, it does, because if you have a look at the trend line that was broken, and not just broken, it was smashed by the same kind of price action that you pointed out to me going the other way. Big decisive bar. Didn't actually go through the trade line, but once it got through the trade line, it just went nuts. And on the monthly chart, it's exactly the same thing, but going in the opposite direction. Interestingly, that line that I've drawn on my chart, that horizontal level, has hit that level and come back off it. That's interesting to me. And that suggests to me that we're going to here. We're going to 81.38 or something, or whatever I've got here. So short term, 100% think you've got a point. But I don't see this going beyond this level here. Doesn't mean it won't. That's what I think. And I'll certainly be looking for longs at that point. So I'll be looking to buy into Aussie dollar as soon as we get down to the 70.44 level or whatever it is. So 50 pips from now. So I hope that helps. Absolutely right. Big breakout of the channel. And I expect that to go another 50 odd pips before it hits something else. Next question. From Crystal, many pairs beyond DS3 now must be lockdown traders. Well, could be, but you know, we have to have moves, and finally they do come. So I don't have a problem with that. What I do like about that crystal is that it's going to produce opportunities, and I'll be looking for those. So, you know, you'll be looking for double tops, double bottoms, head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders, bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing, evening stars, morning stars, all those sorts of things that we normally look for when the market's reversing, but then something to back it up. So if you are finding a double top, then you're probably looking for a lower high. If you're finding a double bottom, you're looking for a higher low, and so on and so forth. So yes, these are good times. These are good times to pay attention. Dennis, the FTSE trade from the other day, Ash hit 4-1 today, so all good. There you go. Crystal, is it coincident that the stimulus news swing market when options due to expire? Absolutely no idea, not my area, Crystal. Ash will answer that for you. Beer o'clock if they both win. Absolutely, Dennis. Yes. Jeff, I'll be buying a 10 by 10x crypto this weekend. Stand by on your Skype. Okay, sounds good. And is also a UK-based company. Awesome. All right, everybody, I think I've answered your questions. Forming the right shoulder, done that. Finviz, I answered that. Bunnies, yep, got it. All right, and CAD Swiss we know about. And the Aussie continues to flounder. And as I said, that's not such a bad thing at the end of the day. That'll give us a good price eventually, one would hope. Euro versus the dollar is tanking, versus the pound, it's absolutely stable. Versus the CAB, it's stable. So this is a dollar story, not anything other than that. How are our trades going, guys? Euro pound we just looked at, so it's doing nothing. What else have we got going? Euro CAD, we looked at that as well, doing nothing. Pound 92, we're 1 pip in profit. Awesome. Kiwi's at the monthly pill. We're not in that. We're in a Kiwi trade. Kiwi CAD. How's that doing? Just about entry. So there's not a lot going on as far as the currency pairs are concerned. I know there's movement about, but from my perspective, I don't see a lot happening at this very point in time. But stand by for the US session. If the Aussie pairs have gone far enough and have given me something on the smaller time frames, I will be trading them long. Can absolutely promise you that. So there you go, mate. That's about me done, I think, for now.
All right, mate. No problem at all. Well, we'll be back at 1:30. See how this dollar Swiss trade is going. It's stretching its legs to the upside as we speak. So
good.
Gonna aim for that monthly pivot. We can have a quick look at it before we go. Happy about the FTSE trade. Was that Dennis saying that? I'm really pleased about that FTSE trade, yes, Dennis. That's fantastic. And yeah, so the dollar is stretching its legs now against the Swissy. So we're looking at this pivot. I'd like to aim for that up there. I can't remember what levels I gave out now, but I am going to aim for that pivot. So whatever levels I gave out, the take profit one soft target is going to be at 0.19. I'll write it in here. 0.91. I'd say 68. Now the thing is, all we've got right now is a good entry price. It doesn't mean we've got a good trade. So we've got to stay vigilant with this and don't expect it just to go here, which is why this has got to be a soft target. If we start to see some weakness, you know, on the approach here, then it might be that we're going to take profit a bit earlier. But I quite like it, so I'm going to stick with it as long as we can. But as I say, all this is a good entry. It doesn't mean that we've got a good trade. at this point. It's just that we picked exactly the right bounce price.
Mate, did you answer Crystal's question?
Oh gosh, no, I didn't.
Because I can't, got no idea.
Let me see what that was.
About the news and
Is
options
it
due to expire.
Oh gosh, let's go back to that, Jeff. Crystal, where's that going?
Do you want me to read it to you?
Yes, please, mate.
Sorry, I lost.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, is it a coincidence that the stimulus news swing market when options due to expire? Is it a coincidence that the stimulus news?
My pigeons.
Don't know. Honestly, don't know. I don't know. That's it's unfortunately something that yeah, you know, there's certain things that I will assume that makes sense, but I just don't know. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know enough about options, and I don't know when options when they are due to expire. So it could be. It certainly could be, and it's one of those things, isn't it? That that if it is, then the question is it tradable? You know, knowing when those options are to expire, is that a tradable? Is there a system that you can trade around that? And there probably is, but I just don't know. I don't have enough knowledge with options. We have got an options trader, I think, coming on board the team soon, so that might be something that that we can quiz that person about and find out, you know, how that affects the market. But I just don't know. Options expire on the third Friday. That's a question from I don't know, mate. I don't know. I honestly don't know enough about options. Possibly. I don't tend to. That doesn't usually kind of manipulate is the wrong word, but it doesn't change the way that I'm trading. It's not the information that I use to trade with, so I'm just not sure.
And certainly not me.
LT saying the third Friday. Yeah, so you could be right, mate. You could be right. Okay, we are currently in the money, and as I say, it's stretching its legs a little bit against this the Swissy right now. So let's see what we get out of this one. We're actually at break even.
The pain.
There we go. We got a 1-to-1. All right. We will see you in a few hours then, mate, I guess.
Yep, right, mate. I'll be here.
Okay, fantastic. All right, guys.
Have fun,
enjoy the rest of your day. We won't be back, obviously, tomorrow morning. So if those of you that aren't joining us later on are only in the UK show, then we will see you in the UK show next Monday. Thank you, Helen. Appreciate it. All right, for now, we will see you later, won't we, Jeff?
We will. Bye, guys. Have fun. Have a great weekend if you won't be with us later.